So hi everyone. So we are back in Shirley's garden. This is Shirley, my sister.
Hello.
And this is her beautiful garden. So it's quite nice weather today, isn't it? It's very chilly, but it's nice and dry. And I'll give you a quick look around Shirley's garden. There's still lots of lovely colour in her begonias and her dahlias. Yeah, Alstroemeria down there. But anyway, Shirley fancies doing a bit of tidying up today, don't you? So we're just going to go around. Shirley tells me what she would like me to sort of cut back or dig out and transplant, and that's how we work it. So what is it you want to do in particular in this garden? A lot of cutting back. So I wish I'd made a video the other day because I came and you see these two stumps here. They were buddleias and they were right the way up over the wall, weren't they? And we didn't get them cut back last year, did we?
No.
So they were quite woody, and Shirley I cut down the big branches and Shirley cut them into small bits and then put them in the green bin. That was a great day, wasn't it? And it really doesn't matter, you know, if you don't get your plants cut back in the autumn or your garden tidied up. It's probably better for nature that you leave. It is, isn't it? But there are some things that don't weather well, like my peonies have gone. They've just all flopped over, and hostas. I find hosta leaves go really slimy and it just encourages slugs and snails and things. So things like that are best if you can get rid of those leaves. But things like the goldenrod here, you know, that's really quite pretty, isn't it? The Crocosmia lucifer there is just all spilling forward. I'll take you for a quick once round and then we'll get started, because there's so many beautiful things still in her garden. All you have to do is take the time to stop and have a look, isn't it? So beautiful little roses still in bud and flowering there. And then we've got some lovely pink tall dahlias. I'll try and go slowly because it makes you nauseous, I know, if I twang the camera around. They are just beautiful. That's all one plant, that big pink dahlia, isn't it? And then she's got some gorgeous begonias here. Beautiful oranges and lemons and dark reds. And then over here, this is Alstroemeria Arabian Nights, and this is its second flush there. Its first flush, the flowers were right up here, but I mean it's still got loads of buds on, Shirley. And from Shirley's house, or anyone's house, you really are looking, I think, for pops of colour this time of year, aren't you? This lovely shrub with the blackberries on, which Shirley and I always forget the name of that one. That's looking gorgeous. The phlox is finished. And then over here, behind the pond, is a lovely splash of yellow Rebecca there. And this has been a gorgeous pink mallow, and that has been a beautiful deep pink buddleia. So it has been absolutely gorgeous, hasn't it? You've got some lovely apples on the crabapple tree there. That's stunning, that crabapple tree. And then that one beside it is an acer. Right, so the first thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut this Crocosmia lucifer back. And the only reason we're doing that is because next year Shirley wants the Crocosmia dug out. What are you going to put in its place? You don't know. If she was leaving it, you would leave all these stems. The seed heads are really quite pretty. And the goodness out the leaves goes back down and feeds the plant, and then you get lovely flowers next year. Because Crocosmia lucifer, it sort of grows from, I think it's a comb, isn't it? So you have to feed the comb in the autumn so that it's got plenty food to flower the next year. And the same goes if you've got any peonies. You just have to let the foliage go yellow and then even brown. And when it'll tell you when it's ready to be chopped back, because it'll just flop forward. It goes sort of horizontal. Right. Chop the goldenrod back as well. See, that's a peony there. That's peony foliage, that's finished. It's quite good chopping all the goldenrod back because it lets all the light through to this little geranium here. And that'll just take off. I'll put that there. So this is how we work. So I cut the big stems down of whatever it is, and then Shirley chops it up much smaller and puts it in the green bin. It's amazing how much we can get in that green bin, isn't it? And then I usually do the jumping on it to squash it down a bit more. Right, I'll take those black secateurs then, and you use those because they're better for your hand. So behind Shirley, I'm just continuing to cut the golden rod down here. She's got a lovely little kennel, which she bought for, you used to have a rabbit called Flynn, didn't you? He was lovely. And he had a charmed life. He just lived out in the garden. He didn't really do that much damage, did he? No. Shirley was careful about what she planted, that there wasn't things poisonous for him. But he just had the run of the garden for years, didn't he? And some neighbour has a lovely cat, and the cat and Flynn the rabbit used to sleep in this dog kennel. And the cat still comes along sometimes, doesn't it? Right. Right, so what we're going to tackle in this area is, this is in Shirley's front garden. So she's got a big patch of alstroemeria that goes right along there. And then this year we planted these Rebecca's, didn't we? So she's got that. She's got a rose under here and a hydrangea, but then she's got this enormous Fatsia Japonica, isn't it? So that is blocking all the light from this area. And what we found was all the alstroemeria just sort of fell forward. So we need to reduce the size of this, but we're going to do sort of baby steps, aren't we? Instead of, I've got my opinion, Shirley's got hers, but it's her garden, so she wins. You get sort of attached, don't you, to plants. Right, so I'm going to take the camera down and see if you can see in. So there is one big stem here, one big branch, and I'm of the opinion that would take that whole branch out there, which will leave 4 other branches, the tallest of which is up against the railings at the back. But Shirley thinks if we take this stem off first and see what that looks like. So here we go. Oh, I'm going to need the loppers. Right, here we go. Oh, nice new loppers, nice and sharp. What do you think of that? Well, that's what I'm saying, Shirley. So you've got this whole new one there. You've got a whole new one there, a whole new one there. And then if you look at the back there, that is the tallest bit. You've got a whole big one. You'll not have a gap where you can see the railings. You know, the little one will grow up. He's not going to hinder anything, but this is just going to shoot away again. Now we've cut him, he'll just take off next year and nothing will grow here. Whereas if he was gone, you would be delighted, I'm sure, with the Fatsia. You'd have all of this still here. But if it's too hard a decision to make now, then just leave him. Nothing's spoiling, is it, for the winter? So, shall I dig this bit of alstroemeria out here and that bit of pink stuff? And this here is a weed and that's pink stuff. And then I'll plant the Rebecca in there. I'll go and get the spade. So, this is that pink stuff. I think it's called Centura. It just grows like a weed in our gardens, doesn't it? Dig that out. Is that? Oh, that is Centura. Right. Right, so we've got a spot here. Should I dig this Shasta daisy out as well? So this is a weed here. That's that creeping buttercup stuff. And this is Shasta daisy, which will grow really fast and compete with the alstroemeria. Right, so what do you want in here? Do you want that? I'll go and get that. Rebecca, that we've just bought. If you just hold that. You see how he's starting to grow already? So if I put him there, what do you think? A bit further back? It could be that we've just planted bulbs there. What about there? Or there, because he's going to be slow growing. This is a hebe here. And the alstroemeria is going to stop growing around there. Yeah? Put them there. Okie doke. He'll love it there. Right, where's his little label? There. So put that there. Oops. And then we'll give him a good watering in. Even at this time in the autumn when it's cold, you have to water in a newly planted plant. And that, we're not sure what it is, but we've planted something there. Right. Right. The heuchera in here. Right. So we've got, Shirley's got heucheras all the way along the front, and obviously one's died there. So I'm going to go and dig a heuchera up, which is buried. I'll show you where it's buried. So you can just see the leaves poking out here. There's two. I'm going to dig that one up there, in there. Right, so there's that little heuchera there. Take any weeds off. Bring him over here. So this is a lovely one. He's sort of shades of green and purple, isn't he? Yeah. Loads of miniature daffodils here. Just clean him up a bit. Pop him in. Right, put them there. Go gently because there's probably some in already. Nope, right. So those bulbs are miniature daffodils. There we go. Oh, well, that looks so much better, doesn't it? It's not worth tidying leaves up at the moment because the trees are just starting to shed, and you tidy it up, spend 2 hours, and they'd be all back within half an hour. Right. Okie doke, we'll go into the back garden, should we? Right, so I'm going to tackle this border here now. So I'll tell you what's in it. So this trellis here supports a pink fairy rose, and then this big rose growing up here is a white rambling rector. Shirley always knows the name of everything. Apart from that shrub with the blackberries. Right. That's what we're going to do before this video finishes. We're going to remember the name of that shrub, right? So yes, in this border here, we've got a clump of Johnson's blue geranium. It looks a right mess round here because this is her bird feeding station. Shirley has loads of lovely birds that come, but they drop the husks everywhere. And you buy the no mess seed as well, don't you? Anyway, that's Johnson's blue geranium. All of this at the back is that pink wild geranium I was telling you about. This is a beautiful Rebecca that you bought this year, didn't you? So he's done really well. He's been lovely. This here, is that Crocosmia lucifer? Is that Montbretia? It's Lucifer. Do you want that pulling out? So Shirley wants the Lucifer digging out. Actually, I think I'll try and pull it and get the comb out as well, and then I'll pot it up and he can go somewhere else. This mess at the bottom here is Montbretia, these little ones here. So do you want that all tidying up? Or Shirley's going to come over. So Shirley can only come out in the garden, obviously, when there's somebody else here. So it's a real treat, isn't it, to just see what's happening and just to get out. You know, as I say, if you can't get out and tidy your garden up in the autumn, it's no big deal. The plants are going to stay alive, aren't they? But sometimes you just fancy getting out and doing a bit of tidying up, and it does you good. You want the Crocosmia out of there? Yes. Right. Okay. Okay. Right, I'll get to work and I'll start doing that. I'll go and get my spade. Right. So we'll work into the border so I can see down here there's loads of bits of grass and that pink centura stuff. Pull that out. The grass comes from the bird seed, doesn't it? That's it. Right. Right, so if you can pull it and it comes out like that, that's great. I'll collect these, I'll put them in a pot of multi-purpose compost, cut the tops off, and then that'll either go to our other sister, Kathleen, for her allotment or a garden, or my daughter, Jessica, is creating a new garden. So nothing goes to, well, not much goes to waste. Right, I'm going to get my spade and get this Montbretia out. There we go. Take out what we can save. See there, lovely, lovely bulbs or combs there. And then all of this down here, there's Shasta Daisy in it, there's Aqualesia. I'll pull out the Shasta Daisy because that tends to take over, doesn't it? Now, what do you want doing with your hellebore leaves? I tend to cut mine back, cut them all back. So I'll show you what hellebore looks like if you've never seen one. So these are hellebores or Christmas roses. They are one of the first things up in the spring, aren't they? But the leaves go really gnarly. They don't really add anything to your garden. So if you're so inclined, you can just cut them all back and it won't harm the plant. And then next spring, you will see all of the flowers sooner because they're not having to grow up amongst all leaves. The other thing that hellebore is usually prone to if you leave it are these black dots on the leaves that don't look very nice, black spot. So it's best to just get rid of the old leaves. Maybe pop a marker in, because when you've cut all the leaves away, then you obviously don't know what is underground anymore. Shirley will, because she's lived here so long. But if you've got a new garden and you're not, you're cutting all the leaves back, then in a few weeks' time you've just got a patch of earth with a few little twigs sticking up. You might forget that it's hellebore and dig it up accidentally. So it's always best to put a little marker in. If you haven't got a pen, a marker pen to mark what it is, just stick anything in. At least it will remind you, don't dig there, there is something in the area. That's how we're always coming across sticks, aren't we? It's like, oh, I've obviously planted something there, so beware. Right. That is phlox at the back, but the leaves are, the foliage is quite nice still on that, so we'll just leave that a bit longer. This is a beautiful big patch of hellebore, Shirley. Right, the last thing we're going to do today is I'm going to cut back this mallow, and I'll cut back the buddleia as well. Do you think, or do you like the bud? Oh, right. So Shirley's saying we'll leave the buddleia. I'll show you this because the birds, these are the seed heads of the buddleia, and apparently the birds eat them. So we'll leave the buddleia, but we'll chop the mallow down. And you can chop a mallow down like pretty much like a buddleia. You can chop it back really hard. Right, let's get in there. I'm just going down as far down to the base as I can get and cutting. So you see I'm just cutting right back down. I'll bring the camera over so you can see where I'm cutting, just in case you've got a mallow or a buddleia and you're not sure about how drastic you can be. Right, so this is where the mallow, it's sort of grown horizontally along here towards the light, because this hydrangea is so big that it's causing anything underneath it to grow outwards horizontally. So what you can do is you can go down, you can see little green shoots there. You could just cut to there. But it really doesn't matter. You can cut it right back almost to ground level and it would still come away. And if you do that every year, then the stems never really get too thick, and it's much easier in the autumn to cut it back. If you do miss the opportunity to cut it back, some people just never cut them back, they just let them grow, but then they get absolutely massive, and they really have to sort of be kept in proportion to the size of your garden. So that's the big stem that I've just cut off there. I mean, look, I'm 5'6", so that's 5'5" long. But if you wanted, I could have cut it down to here and left some sort of frothy green growth at the bottom. Oh, there's loads of new growth at the bottom here, Shirley. It's lovely. We'll not be able to see you soon, Shirley. It's a really pretty leaf left on this buddleia. It's really silver, isn't it? Also, whilst you're in pruning a buddleia or a mallow, you're looking for anything that's very obviously dead, that has no green growth on it at all. So get that out. And that goes for any shrub. So yes, we don't want to cut the hydrangea back anymore, because the hydrangea flowers on old wood. So if we cut this back now, Shirley wouldn't get any flowers next year. So the mallow will again grow out horizontally and then up, and it doesn't really matter, does it? There's no hard and fast rules in gardening. You make your own rules up for your garden. That's it. Get this foliage out the front here. Oh, you've got a nice gem at the front here, Shirley. Oh, and your iris. Lovely. Yeah, Shirley's saying that the iris that I gave out of my garden, I lifted them out of my garden and put them in here, and they were lovely. Right. So that looks much better. It's going to let a lot more sort of air circulate in that area. We're really going to have to hire a cameraman, Shirley. Yeah, that looks much better. So that's it for today, isn't it? We're just going to chop all this dead and dying foliage up, fill the green bin up, and then it's coffee time. Coffee and cake, isn't it? So yes, if you feel like it and you can get out in your garden, it's really nice just sort of doing a little bit of tidying up, isn't it? But if you can't get out in your garden, or you just don't feel like it, then just leave it. The garden will take care of itself, and maybe you'll feel like it in the spring. So right, until next time, thanks for watching. Bye. Oh, that's lovely, Shirley.